So the last few days here in the UK have been kind of mad, if I'm being honest, because the weather's actually been not shit for once, and that is saying a lot in this country, because it's usually absolutely fucking terrible weather. But I've been working, I've been coming home knackered, and I've had the perfect thing to come home to, and that is this. This is XDefiant you guys are seeing right here, and honestly, it is probably one of the most fun games I have played in a good few years. Like, this is insanely fun, this game, and the reason for that is it's basically old school COD with Ubisoft IPs and like specialist abilities. And you guys know I'm not really a big fan of specialist abilities, but I think that's more so in Call of Duty, because in this game I am actually a really big fan of the abilities in this game. It's honestly so much fun. But today I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions, and by first impressions I mean my first impressions from about nearly a fucking week ago at this point, because there was a long story of me trying to get into this beta. I managed to get a code, and it was for PC, so I managed to get the beta on my laptop, which was about as fucking useful as a wet blanket. Eventually I managed to get sent an Xbox code, and on Tuesday I downloaded it and got it all like set up and everything, and managed to start playing, and I had an absolute fucking blast playing with all the weapons. Like, there's a decent selection of weapons in here. You guys, when this game comes out, if you haven't had access to the beta, definitely give it a play, because hopefully they should have fixed the issues. But as I mentioned, this game basically plays like old school COD mixed with honestly a better system for specialists than any other COD game has ever come up with. Like, everything feels balanced. It doesn't just feel like a free kill streak essentially that rewards newbie players. Like, in my best words that I can use to describe it, it feels very well rounded and very rewarding. So when you actually get your specialist ability or whatever, the abilities that you get as like a side one, I guess, that you can use alongside your grenade or whatever, they feel good as well. Like, I think it's with Echelon, you get like a camouflage suit similar to active camo from Halo, and it's honestly fucking good because half the people can't even see you unless they're really looking. Say for example, you're looking down a scope and you see like a blurry mass, that's someone using that ability, which obviously if you just see a random blurry mass running around the map, just fucking shoot it. Other than that, it's a very good tool for sneaking around. I think it's Libertad division or whatever you want to call it. I'm thinking fucking COD World War II here, but that division, we're just going to call it that for now. Faction, that's the right word. That faction, they have a healing ability, so you get out like basically like a stim, and it gives you 120 health and regens all of your health. So say you're on 1, you just press left bumper, and it basically takes your health up to 120 for a few seconds. And then your ultimate is like this mist you put on the floor, and that gives you 200 health while you stood in it. It regens your health while you're getting shot, so it's quite useful in that regard. And honestly, I'm a big fan of them, and they're actually fun, unlike in Black Ops 4. But moving on, we have a few more things to talk about, and the main one, which I feel like most Call of Duty fans will be able to get behind, the game has no skill-based matchmaking, and it's purely connection-based, which is just, oh, thank fuck. It makes the game so much more enjoyable to go on. You get noobs, you get absolute sweats that are on the game as well, but, you know, that's not really anything to complain about in my opinion. These guys, you might get 1 or 2 of them on each team or whatever, and that's completely fine. Like, you've got a mix of people who are really bad, like level 1s, which for some reason I'm level 1, even though it says I'm level 17 on my account, like on the home page, so I think the game is just really fucking glitched at this moment in time. But no skill-based matchmaking is honestly just a dream come true for us Call of Duty fans, because we're tired of getting into these lobbies where you have to absolutely sweat your heart out in order to even get like 5 kills. Like, it's actually fucking ridiculous. You'll do like really well for like 2 games, and then you end up in some like MLG try-hard fucking COD CDL reject lobby where you're getting fucking bunny hopped around corners, people drop-shotting you every 2 minutes. To be honest, I think that was like the main draw for the game for me. Like, when I first heard like no skill-based matchmaking, it's like classic COD, I was literally solid. I was like, right, how do I get a fucking code right this second? And it took me 2 days to get one, so that was fucking fun. But anyway, so I want to quickly talk about the maps, and they're all very, like, classically styled, if you know what I mean. So, like, 3 lanes, but not boring, unlike many Call of Duty maps in the modern day. Like, it's kind of going back to, like, the whole COD 4 to Black Ops 2 kind of style with the maps. So they're like 3 lanes, but with enough flair to them and like additional little corridors and ways to like kind of get the jump on your enemy to make them really fucking interesting. And so much so, they're actually really, really fun to play. Like, in fact, I don't think I have a single map in this game that when I see it, I just back out. Like, I actually can't say at this moment in time which is my favorite map so far. Like, aesthetic-wise, I really like the plane crash map. Like, that just looks so fucking cool in my opinion. And there's another map, I think it is Liberty? I have no fucking idea. Yeah, I think that's the map. But Liberty's a really cool map. I really like points that they use for both hardpoint and domination. I feel like they're very good to defend and also very good to attack as well. So they've kind of like struck a really good balance with like the positioning of the maps and also like the layout. And so much so, like, I can probably say which is my least favorite, but not my favorite, as I've mentioned. Like, I can probably say that, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a really high-rise kind of map with, like, an understairs where the B flag is, and then the A and C flags are at either end of the map on, like, the top floor, which I don't even know what it's called. I have gameplay of it, I'm pretty sure, but, yeah, I just have no idea what it's called. I have to say that's probably my least favorite. It's not like I don't like it. I actually still really enjoy it, but I just don't nearly enjoy it as much as the other maps. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still really fun to play on. I really like going down the center where you've got cover on both sides and you can kind of just like trade fire and then people like run for this massive hole in the middle which takes you down to the B flag, and it's just honestly a really cool layout still. However, there's just so many maps that I like aesthetically more, gameplay wise more. It's not my favorite map, and that doesn't mean it's bad whatsoever, it's just not my favorite. But moving on to the weapons now. Weapon selection is very, very good, but I could say that there still needs to be a good few more weapons in the game, maybe like, I know, 2 more per category. So if you look at assault rifles, for example, there's 4, I believe there's the M16, the M4, the ACR. I've lost fucking count now, Jesus Christ. Don't mind me, guys, I'm just turning my Xbox on to figure this. Oh, okay, I am a complete fucking idiot, that's it. The M4, AK-47, M16, and ACR. And then in the SMGs, you've got the MP5, the Vector, the P90, and the MP7, with the MP7 being my personal favourite in that category. But yeah, the game could really use a few more weapons, like, you know, maybe another assault rifle or another 2, a few more SMGs, a few more shotguns because there's only 3, definitely more sniper rifles because there's 2, there's the M22 and the Mosin Nagant, which I'm so fucking happy the Mosin Nagant's in this game, because if you don't know, the Mosin Nagant, it's just so fucking classic. Like, that was the whole reason I got hyped for Vanguard and then got ultimately let down because the Mosin in that game's fucking awful. Moving on, the game comes off like kind of arcadey like earlier Black Ops games, and I think that's honestly a really good thing because I like those CODs more with like the slower time to kill and like the more gun skill required, and I feel like this is what this game is about. And yeah, I honestly really dig that kind of game, especially for a shooter. It just comes off as a game that is just meant for fun and isn't supposed to take itself too seriously. Like, if you look at Battlefield 1, yeah, I could guess you could argue that some of the weapons are really arcadey and like obviously the only in Battlefield moments, but when you look at the atmosphere, it just makes you feel like you're actually in the First World War. And also games like Arma and that, they're very much milsims rather than FPSs, I'd say. But if you want to look at like a really good quality arcadey shooter, there's no other perfect example than Black Ops 2. The best COD of all time, objective opinion, anyone that thinks differently is wrong. But yeah, basically it comes off as really arcadey and I really like that style of play. And it's also a great blend of Ubisoft's IPs such as Far Cry, Splinter Cell, The Division, Watch Dogs 2's in there as well, and just I feel like they're going to add a few more to it over the years, and maybe add in like the older Far Cry games, the older Splinter Cell games, like give us the actual characters and stuff. Honestly, would be really cool. The characters are really well designed, the abilities are also very well designed, and each faction has differing announcers which personifies their faction. For example, Echelon, which is the Splinter Cell kind of like faction, have their cold, like covert ops sounding radio signals. And I can't remember the name of the freedom fighters fucking hell, what are they called? I'm not even gonna guess, it's gonna waste too much time, but basically they're the freedom fighters from Far Cry 6, and they act like they do in that game. Like, that whole dynamic to the factions, it gives them a very separate kind of feel, and I really like that, and the factions, like, system, I feel like is really good. And I think it, like, contrasts so perfectly with, like, the cleaners from Splinter Cell, which are meant to be these post-apocalyptic, like, in faction, and it really comes off that way with how mental the fucking announcer is. But yeah, that's all I have to really say about the factions and the characters and that. But overall, I'm very much impressed with what I have seen. But the TTK, I have to say, is very fucking inconsistent. On my end, I feel like it's perfect. Like, it takes the perfect amount of gun skill and also, like, centering your sights and everything. I feel like that's perfect. And with, like, the slower time to kill, you get more of the gunfight, which is kind of like what I mean with slower time to kill. And it's all about the person with the better gun skill actually winning instead of who can melt the fastest. But I say on my end, because every time I get shot, I feel like I'm taking like 1 or 2 bullets from them, and I just end up getting fucking melted. I can't personify how annoying the TTK is in this game, because it feels like I'm getting melted, but whenever I fucking shoot anyone, it feels like an actual good time to kill, if you know what I mean. It kind of reminds me of the arcadey style, as I mentioned, with gun skill at the center when the netcode isn't playing up. And speaking of that, I have to mention it, the netcode is absolutely fucking horrible. And by that, I mean, it makes me rage in ways I never thought were imaginable, like way more than COD, Halo, Battlefield, anything else I've ever played. This is actually fucking, like, infuriating. The netcode is by far, and by far, I mean, like, 75 light years distance in between the next worst thing. This is by far the worst part of the game. The good thing about it, this is an actual beta. Like, when COD, you know, releases their betas, they basically just release the game, unlock a few features. Like, by a few, I mean like 3 features. But this is an actual beta. They're definitely taking our feedback very seriously, and obviously with the netcode, it is definitely a beta issue. Like, I highly doubt this netcode problem is going to be in the game, and if it is, they're probably going to fix it at some point with like a day 1 patch or something, which is not too bad. It's going to be a fucking absolute firestorm on Twitch. Everyone's going to be fucking playing it. Like, if you look at Twitch the last few days, everyone's been playing this game over like Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. It's actually got so much more light because of so many people talking about it, saying like, oh, it has no skill-based matchmaking, and then they get all this attention. But yeah, netcode, it's definitely an issue that needs to be fixed very, very soon, because it is giving me rages I did not know were humanly possible. And you just end up like dying around corners. Like, you'll get into a gunfight, you'll finish him off, for example, you'd run around the corner and then you just fucking die. And essentially on their screen, you killed each other at the same time, but on your screen you managed to get away from the gunfight for a little bit, and then you just fucking drop dead of fucking SIDS or some shit. I don't even fucking know at this point, but basically that is by far the worst aspect of the game. And one amazing thing about the game is the transparency from the devs. Like, the main guy, Mark Rubin, who is actually an ex-Call of Duty developer, he's been keeping up with Twitter and all the feedback, and he has just had a child like a week before the beta even started, and obviously at that time he should be on paternity leave, but he's been making sure he can get around to addressing community's concerns, answering questions, and honestly, this guy, fucking hats off to him. This has to be one of the greatest developers I have ever seen for a video game. Just hats off to the guy. He's taking his work very fucking seriously, so much so, he's even, you know, like when he should be on paternity leave, he's addressing the community concerns, you know, to make sure this product actually succeeds, which is absolutely amazing. Hats off to this guy, because that is just 100% dedication and honestly needs to be respected. But anyway, yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this game turns out, because Ubisoft has a habit of dropping games. Like, if you look at The Division 2, that's just completely fucking dead. Watch Dogs 2, yeah, you know, if you stuff like that, they have a really bad habit of dropping games. But hopefully this one stays popular, they fix all the issues, like especially the netcode, that definitely needs fixing, and, you know, it becomes a very successful game. And honestly, if it, you know, improves from the way it is, Like, I've been really fucking enjoying this game. Like, over Modern Warfare 2. I've not touched Modern Warfare 2 since I started playing the beta. That's how much I've been really enjoying XDefiant, and it's just, even with the new season, I'm still more interested in a beta of a game that's completely broken because the gunplay's amazing and it feels like classic COD. That's what I want to be playing, Activision, if you're watching this, and they're definitely going to be noticing the Twitch numbers, the sales, and they've even been given like a free weekend with loads of content, way more content than they normally give in free weekends, and I feel like that's because they're threatened by XDefiant, because this game has just been doing so well, and it's well deserved in my opinion. Like, this game is honestly amazing. If you get a chance to have a closed beta code, make sure you go and check it out, because the beta was originally supposed to end tomorrow on the 23rd, and it's been extended to the 25th, so I'm very happy I get to play this game even more. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's video here. I'm going to go back and play some more XDefiant and then have a nice juicy steak. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss a single video, or alternatively, you can join the Discord server as a link down below. But anyway, I'm going to be keeping you guys posted with more XDefiant stuff, and I believe on the 25th, I will have my full beta review out. I know this was quite a detailed one for my first impressions, but hey ho, hopefully you guys enjoyed. But anyway, this has been QuinntonTV, and I'll see you all in the next one.